That's why Jordan had to overcome them, because the bull is higher than the horse. Because when you understand, as it's written in Revelation 4:7, the Messiah is as the royal bull, the Lion of Judah, the flying eagle, and the Son of Man. You feel what I'm saying? It's all in our face. Hint, anyway, Michael Jordan, remember they had to say he had the gambling issue. You know what I'm saying? And we already know, like, the whole thing with, like, Michael Jordan and all of that, like, the whole thing of his role, the dark aspect of Michael Jordan and what he stood for. But it's all the level of blasphemy of the time to come of Michael rising up. You feel what I'm saying? Because remember, I already broke that down about the fodder, how you will lose the fodder in a gamble. Hint, gambling. You remember how Satan told Messiah to cast yourself down if you're the Son of God, tempting Messiah. Hint, the whole thing of wanting, you to lose the fodder, lose connection to the fodder. That's why Jordan had to do the sacrifice with his fodder in the gambling. Hint, Mike Tyson. Remember how Mike Tyson had asthma. Remember that. So notice how Michael Jackson, remember, with the lupus, and then Mike Tyson with the asthma. Come on, y'all. This stuff is deep. You feel what I'm saying? Hit the whole theme of this, and I'm gonna get deep on this in the aspect of why you had to have the sicknesses and all of that with the Michael aspect. Because remember, I already said that Messiah. I'm gonna get into it later on with Michael Jackson. I'm gonna elaborate on the asthma in a minute. But just notice how Mike Tyson had to have that situation with Robin Givens, the Miss America at the time, the drugs. Remember, they had to destroy the Michael image, because as it's written that he would come and he'll stand there for the children of thy people in a time like never before. So just listen to this right quick. Listen to like how he talks because of the lung issue.
I knew nobody would. Nobody physically fuck me again.
Yo, I ain't laughing at it, but like you say, I knew nobody physically could never mess with me again. It wasn't gonna happen. That bullying wasn't gonna happen again, But anyway, the whole lung issue, I'm gonna get into that in a minute, because I gotta get into that. It's deep, y'all. But that whole thing, how they all had to have the sicknesses and everything, like this stuff is no joke, y'all. But anyway, let's keep it going. Remember, Michael Jackson had the black. It don't matter if you're black or white, because Bill had to be the one to produce this song. Remember, I was talking about it earlier about Willie and Carl with the Ghost movie. Remember, I was talking about Willie, the man in the mirror, and Carl. And I said, obviously, William, the will of I am that I am. Remember, I was talking about that in Exodus 3:14 when I said the Most High said, his name is I am that I am. Remember, I was talking about that. And hint, Bill is short for William. So hint, Michael Jackson was saying, no matter if you're black or white, because hint, the whole thing, even if you're in the darkness, you can be led into the light. You know what I mean? It shows Messiah would, come from being hidden. Black obviously hint the thing of being hidden, the darkness, and then coming into the white, the light, being revealed. That's why Michael Jackson had to go from being black and white. Remember how he was black when he started off, and then he became white, because he was showing Messiah would go from being hidden into becoming, of light, being revealed. You see how deep this goes? That's why I said that about the aspect of the sickness with the skin lupus, and the Mike Tyson with the lungs. Remember I said the Messiah during the crucifixion gave up the ghost. Remember that, when his last breath. So notice how Mike Tyson couldn't breathe, and because he had a lung issue, and Michael Jackson had the skin lupus. So let's get deeper into this, man. It's deep.